We're doing a Zoom connection. I'm going to admit James. I hope my ears don't blow out or something here. I'm not used to doing this. Haven't been doing a lot of human contact lately, not even the digital kind. So let's see. Admit. I pressed the admit button, and let's see if we can get Mr. James on the line. Caller, are you there? Caller? Hello, caller. This is Teen Chat Line, 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. slot. Yes, you're a sinner. No abortions! Okay, that's...
Nope.
Let me see here. Where's this fucking... I don't... James? I know James... Oh, I think I'm muted. No, wait, that's not. Do I have to unmute James? Do I mute? No. Okay, James, let me see. James, you reading me?
Oh, I can hear you.
There you are. Okay, James, I figured out the problem. My volume was down. I couldn't hear you. Let me turn down the game volume, then I will. All right. Okay, good. Sorry about that, buddy. Can you hear me now?
Well, yeah, I can hear you. I'm just working on muting the Twitch because I'm getting you twice.
Oh. James has the Twitch stream going. Okay, let me know when you're good, and then we'll introduce you. This is already working out way better than I expected.
All right, figured it out. We're good.
Okay. Yeah, you sound fine. So hi everybody, welcome to Suck Professor. It's me and James. James is online. Say hi to the channel, James.
Hello, everybody.
Great. Thank you.
How goes it?
I know everything is strange and weird. Anyway, thanks for coming in to the show, James. I know you've been playing Valheim. We're going to talk about that, and maybe we'll touch on your upcoming adventure into the medical world that you're experiencing, if you're okay with that. Not that trying to give you the privacy, although we're doing this publicly right now already.
It's all good.
But you already mentioned on the previous show, that's why I know.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked you before.
No qualms about it.
Which one do you want to do first, the fun part or Valheim?
It's up to you. Your show.
Oh, my show. All right, let's talk about massive open heart surgery. That's the fun topic. I know that when you mentioned it before last December, I'm just going to paint the scene a little. You had recently been diagnosed, I guess, or whatever, and determined that they needed to do a pretty big intervention. And we were going through the steps to, like, you had to go through all this prep stuff for a heart surgery. And it was delayed because of the COVID pandemic, which our country royally fucked up. So it just caused all sorts of ways it got bogged down. And that included like putting off surgeries that they deemed were elective that weren't really elective. Anyway, that's the backstory. So some of the people on Suck Professor had already heard about this. And the only update up until about a week ago was that we were waiting for the pandemic, and the hospital has to, they will contact you when it's ready to go. Anyway, now it's your turn to talk. You got a phone call last week.
Oh, yeah. Got the call last week from Kaiser after about a couple of months of waiting with nothing, and they just kind of hit the ground running 1,000 miles per hour.
Pause. James, sorry, I fucked up the audio. Hold on.
No.
Okay, I turned it up now. I'm so sorry. He didn't say anything super relevant there, guys. You can tell I was the one talking mostly, other than the nice thing. So I turned it up now. James, can you speak and we can see if they can hear you?
Got me? Hello.
Shelster Bell in the chat. Thank you for letting us know. I wasn't seeing it. Are you catching us? Are you picking them up now? James, countdown from...
Ahead.
There she is. Okay, she's got you now. Okay.
Cool.
All right. I don't know your gender, Shelster Bell. I'll say they. They can hear us. Okay, so to repeat not the whole summary, but you got a phone call last week.
Yeah, after a couple of months of hearing nothing and kind of trying to forget about things. But yeah, last week they wanted to get started. They told me I'd have a consultation with a surgeon on Monday, which is tomorrow. And then kind of dropped the bomb that, oh yeah, of course surgery is going to be the same week. So that kind of freaked me out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It freaked me out a little bit more when about an hour later the surgeon calls me for the consultation, even though it was supposed to be on Monday. Next thing I know, I'm in there doing pre-op prep and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's happening.
So they're
on
like
Tuesday.
They go consultation Monday, and then the guy calls you an hour later and goes, also surgery the day after Monday.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is, I mean, you put it best when it first happened and you mentioned it. It was, it would be so much better to have it happen immediately as quickly as possible than have it marinating in your head for another month or 2 months or 3 months.
Yeah.
That kind of stress will kill you. This kind of stress feels like it's killing me, but it's going to be over soon.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. You're in like a haunted maze with murderous clowns, but it's only going to be for 5 minutes instead of 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, less like it's going to be suck. If it's going to be shitty, you want to kind of just hurry up and get to the front of, let's get this roller coaster of death
Yeah,
going,
yeah.
as
It's
opposed
like that old cliche saying, like if you're going through hell, keep going.
Winston Churchill. That's right.
Yes.
I think, I don't know, who knows. But okay, so everything's looking pretty good though. This is a risky thing. What are they doing to you? Do you
Well,
have
I mean, I wouldn't say it's risky. It is in some cases. I mean, in terms of death, there's like less than a 1% chance.
all
So,
right? Pretty
if
good.
I do die, then it's like winning the reverse lottery.
Can I have your
Which,
1080 Ti?
oh no, no, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
okay. Well, I'll
You
put
gotta
I'll,
you gotta keep my graphs the same though. I'm
I'll
drawing a butt.
I'll pull it off your out of your hands, clutching it in the coffin. That's a
Yes.
morbid comment to say to a guy. Okay, sorry. So the risk is 1%.
Yeah, for
Um,
mortality. I mean, really, the only risk is that essentially what it is. It's a it's the most common heart problem that people have, but I think only like 4% of the population have it, and of that 4%, a much smaller percentage have it as bad as I do.
oh,
So it's called severe mitral valve regurgitation or prolapse, which basically means your heart pumps blood in and then it closes the valve to keep the blood from being sucked back into the heart when it gets ready to do its next pump. In my case, the leaflets of that valve don't close fully after the blood gets pumped out, so a bunch of it gets sucked back in. That's why I can always feel my heart kind of not skipping, but kind of sputtering, I guess is the best way to put it.
right. Oh
Which
man.
means that it causes a whole bunch of stuff. You mess with the heart, you mess with the whole body. That's why I'm always tired and all that stuff. So it's bad news, but a lot of people have it and they have no symptoms. They don't find out about it for a long time. It doesn't affect them. Mine just so happens to be bad enough that it affects me.
So bad that your youth couldn't even hide it from you.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
Um.
It's not fun, but it's getting fixed.
Yeah.
The thing about it though is that the fix, I've got about a less than a 60% chance, they tell me, of it being repaired, which I want. And if
Okay.
they can't repair it, they have to replace it. And if they have to replace it, that means I got to have it done every 10 years or so.
And
Which,
sorry, the replacement is with a pig valve.
well, the way it works is that they keep two different tissue. They give you the choice between tissue or mechanical. Tissue is the better choice, I feel like, and I can get into that into a little bit. But really, what it is that they have two valves, a pig and a cow. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, well, which one are you going to use on me? And they said, well, what we do is we open you up and then we pick up each one and we hold it up against your heart and see which one fits the best.
Did
So I don't know. Yeah,
wow.
that's what they literally said.
Is there like a cow in the same gown, and like there's a cow on a table and a pig on a table, and they're like, I
Yes.
like to imagine a
And when
full
they,
size animals in the room.
yeah, and they use a mystical broadsword and run it through while incanting Kaiser Permanente, rune,
Yeah.
whatever.
And the cow explodes
But
into a purple dust, and then but there's like there's
yes,
a valve on the that floats into your inventory. Yeah.
yeah, and they'll get ready to put the valve in me, and then the nurse Hank will say, "Oh my God, I turned it into coal. What have I done?"
I'll overcook it. I do
Yeah,
keto. I would definitely eat the other valve that they don't use, by the way. Bring it on. I love
yes,
offal. Um,
yeah,
okay, go ahead. I think I
yes.
interrupted a thought here.
So basically, it's if they try and repair first. If the repair fails, they go for replacement. But once they replace it, there's no going back.
Right.
Once your valve is cut out, it's gone forever. And if I go tissue, that means about 10 years before they got to crack me back open and go through this whole song and dance again.
Mm.
If I go mechanical, mechanical lasts for life. So you think, oh shoot, well why not go mechanical? No brainer. Problem is, mechanical isn't tissue, so your body doesn't really work with it so well. The blood gets all funky, and you got to be on blood thinners the rest of your life, which means severe internal, external bleeding if you scrape yourself or bump yourself. And
Yeah.
I'm a pretty clumsy person, so I'm usually on the floor more than I am upright.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
James had a big fight with the coffee table one morning, and
oh
yeah,
yeah,
it was
it didn't go so well.
tripped right out. Yeah.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you have to go into the hospital once a month to have your levels checked, to have your Coumadin blood thinner level checked, which
Oh
I
man.
really don't want to do.
Yeah.
And the third thing is, every time your heart beats, you can hear a clicking sound. And the surgeon told me, it's like, well, don't worry about it. If you're obese, you can't hear it at all. And it's like, well, I'm not.
if you're,
So
if you're covered in audio insulation, it's no big deal.
yeah, so
Yeah.
the surgeon had a really weird way of comforting me, but I trust that he knows what he's doing.
Oh man.
All I can do is trust. There's really nothing I can do. It's out of my hands.
Yeah. I mean, Well, sure. I would hope it's not in your hands. The surgery part of it, your
Yeah.
responsibilities are to like manage the emotional toil
Oh
and,
yeah.
and
You try.
healthiness and maybe some exercise and some nutrition modifications. Not that I'm saying the okay. I feel like I'm judging your diet and I shouldn't be doing that. You eat a very
I
healthy
mean,
diet.
after all my blood work, they said that I am completely healthy
That's
aside
good.
from this.
Nice, nice. That's good.
It's terrible. It's like saying your car is completely good aside from the engine.
Yeah. Aside from the most important part, which we're about to put a pig part into, we're gonna put a hoof. Man, God. Well, what an amazing technology. I mean, people that get this condition, it's genetic or it's like partially
That's the
genetic.
tough part. Yeah, I asked the surgeon that, and he said, yes, it is, but they don't know in what way it's genetic. It's kind of unknown. There's not, you can't just point to a single chromosome and say, yes, there's the problem.
Right.
It's something that they don't fully understand yet, but they have seen patterns that suggest there's a genetic component to it, but they couldn't really answer my question about that.
Yeah.
And I asked the question because I was curious about whether or not I got it from my dad, and he thought I was asking it because I was afraid about passing it on myself. And I was like, oh, I hate kids. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's fine. If anything, this gives you a reason to have kids. You hate
Yeah, and
you
if
hate
they
them so
have it, then
much.
they
You
deserve it because
yeah,
they suck.
give one, give
No, I'm kidding.
bring sire one that has a cursed heart.
Well, I mean, that's the problem. That's really the bad part. Is if I was going to have kids, I would want to have them for extra spare parts. So I don't want to pass it along to them.
Yeah.
Because when I do the whole Kalima Shakti Day from Indiana Jones to rip the heart from the child when I need it, I don't want it to be defective.
Yeah, we all understood the reference. That's one
Oh
of the
yeah,
more
straight from '83.
yes, where the extent of special effects was to just have the guy poke his fingers into the other actor's chest pretty hard, and then they cut to behind him, and he's holding a heart in his hand. We got ripped off. No, he actually puts his hand in his chest in that movie.
Oh
Right?
yeah, you see
Yeah.
it go through.
Wow. I have no business doing a culture nerd movie show podcast channel thing. All right. Well, I mean, obviously there's a lot of questions and things to say. It's a little stressful, but it's also a good stress. Fortunate enough to be able to get this care. You have confidence in the surgeons. I mean, obviously everybody you've dealt with so far, other than like some of the scheduling goof ups. Not the most efficient system here in the country, but the professionals are, and the techs and the nurses and all those folks have been great with you so far.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The people in the medical field are incredible.
Yeah.
I have no crosswords for them.
Not at all. Not at all. The insurance, this fucking insurance companies. Okay. Well, we're all pulling for you. Shelster Bell says, lady, she's confirming my suspicions. She says hugs James. So, and I'm sure we'll get
Oh,
some
thanks.
positive messages
Yeah, that's super nice.
in the when in this part. I'm going to put this up on Suck Professor separately. Your little part here.
Cool.
Anything else you want to say about it? Is it? I know I could ramble. There's always angles to this kind of thing. Oh, just recovery. How about just a little? So you're going to be in the hospital for at least 3 or 4 days, and then home for off
Yeah,
work
they
for a
said
month.
about 4 to 6 days, but because I'm way on the young side of having this thing done, usually the people who have this done are a little bit, higher up there. That
Nearly
they're
dead.
saying maybe 3 days or so, and then about at least 6 weeks off from work before I can do anything.
6 weeks. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. Let's
and
try to
then I
stretch that.
can't.
You deserve more time than that.
Yeah, then they say I can't lift anything 5 pounds or higher. And then I said, "How did you know?"
Yeah. Nice joke. Fucking well delivered joke. That was beautiful. That was like a Johnny Carson talk show joke. Yes, Conan. I tried to update the reference to an already outdated host. Yeah, I was going to say, well, then how are you supposed to go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. So a few days in the hospital. I'm nervous. This is also about me. No, but there's a concept with these sorts of traumatic incidences, and traumatic is the right word because your body's going to go through a severe form of consensual violence, which is what we call surgery. But when people take these sorts of these things happen, luckily it doesn't happen all the time. Some people will have bad luck with random accidents, and they do have more traumas than others. The distribution of trauma is not equal, but there is a concept that I remember because I've dealt with some family who've had some pretty substantial medical things in their life, and on like my mom was, well, I don't share, but long medical, a lot of scary, weird days in hospitals. And there is a notion of these sorts of events as being group incidents, meaning there's the patient, there's like the person in the center, and then there's like the people closest to that person, and there's sort of concentric circles of support networks that can emerge. If you don't have any friends or any family, you're probably not going to have a lot of support. So maybe we don't know some people. I hope it's tragic that some people don't have a lot of friends or family or whatever. I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but this is just something I think about because like we're roommates, right? And pandemic, we're pair bonded pandemic survivors, pair bonded, like we're breeding loons in a lake. But my mom has been like, "Oh, how's James? How's James? How's James?" And I was like, "He's good. He's good. Like we're gonna get it done." She's a very concerned person. Heartfelt and totally good to be concerned. But I explained to her, and this sounds so bad, but I was like, "Mom, I'm gonna be focused on helping James because he needs some help right now, and that's good. And I'm happy to help, and I should be there to help him. We humans need to help each other. It's worse for me if I don't help him." And he needs help, and it's good. And I'm going to force him to make me help him because James doesn't like to get help much. A lot of us are like that. And I was like, but I need you to not put your worries at me about James. I was like, Mom, you got to worry about me. You're outside my circle. You're not in the immediate care unit. You're in the secondary. You're one circle out. And the reason I'm bringing this up though, is I think it's an interesting way of thinking about how everybody participates in each other's lives in successes and in, well, I don't know, this isn't a success failure paradigm, but like, it's a way of reinforcing bonds, I guess, in a sense. Like, if I'm helping you, I told my mom, like, here's how you can help James. Help me. And I don't need her help anyway. But I was like, you can just ask me how I'm doing. Not that it's rude to ask how you are, but I was trying to tell her, like, I can't stop and make you feel better right now, Mom, about your worries. I don't need to know that. It's okay that you are. I was trying to validate it all. And I'm going to be focused on helping James feel better. So I don't know why I'm telling you this, James, because what are you supposed to do about all this? But
Oh no, your mom and I talk every day.
what?
Yep, she has
No.
her own Twitch stream. She asked me not to tell you.
That explains why she's always floating outside your window, dressed up like Gozer or Zool or whatever, the lady in the red dress from Ghostbusters. Yeah. So anyway, a lot of people are pulling for you. And of course that sounds like you're really about to die, which you're not. You're going through a pretty routine thing.
No,
Pain.
I'm gonna fall over the coffee table when I get home, and that's how I'm gonna die.
That's why I'm like, oh crap. I better put the childproofing up. Well, I had a final thought there about, you, pain wise, you injured yourself, last year with, gravity and
Oh yes.
messed up your ribs and your cartilage. And so
Yep.
tell me about that compared.
Oh yeah. So I managed to fall upstairs because I do things backwards.
Wait,
And
before we get to that, let me just ask. This surgery they cut down your chest and it's open rib cage, right? Like they crack open.
yeah, you hear a lot of times about standard open heart surgery and
Mhm.
minimally invasive open heart surgery. And my surgeon tells me that minimally invasive is used predominantly for things like aortic valve replacements and things like that, because the aortic valve is apparently, and I'm not a cardiac surgeon, or obviously, I don't know what I'm
You're
talking
a
about aside
cardiac
from what's been
victim.
told to me. But apparently, the aorta or the aortic valve is much easier to get to. The mitral valve, which is my problem, is like deep down in there. So those minimally invasive options, while if you Google it, they say, oh, yeah, you can do it at the Ohio Cleveland Clinic and all that kind of stuff. He assured me that is a bunch of baloney,
Hmm.
and that in order to do it correctly, to do it right, you have to do the whole ripping open.
Wow. Oof, that's grisly. That's nuts.
Yeah.
And you're a horror film guy. You probably would like to watch it,
Oh,
but
yeah. I mean, this char, I'm going to tell people that I had an alien chest burster. That's going to be,
that's fun.
yeah.
Yeah, James, you can't get this guy away from the beach. He goes there and all the men scatter because they can't handle that. They can't. They get too jealous. So
Yeah.
anyway, I interrupted you because the whole chest ripped open. Now compare it to the time that you fell and hurt your ribs.
Oh, so I was coming up the stairs running, wearing socks, then I foot slipped out from underneath me, and I came down on the, like, imagine like the bottom of your rib cage
Mm-hmm.
being slammed with your full body weight and force of gravity on the top stair. I
Mm-hmm.
could feel the whole thing shift upwards, and it was just
Oof.
the most horrible. immediate flash of pain I've ever felt in my life, to the
Yeah.
point where I literally thought this because it's right outside your bedroom door. It's like, is this how Hank is going to find me?
I hope so. If you die, just do it where I can find you. Because if you're in your room, you're going to turn into a nasty pile of shit before I find
Yeah,
you.
my corpse would have slowly slid down the stairs, though. I think that would have been entertaining. I would have liked to, at least, if there is life after death, which that's the big question mark for me. I don't lean one way or the other.
Sure.
But if there is, I would have liked to have at least watched that so I could have laughed at it.
That's true. Yes.
But
Very,
yeah,
a very
anyway,
Benny Hill. Yep. Go ahead.
yeah, so I tried to bear with it for a couple of days. It was just blinding pain. I wasn't sleeping. I was sitting up all night with like sweat pouring down my face, just shivering and shaking and laughing maniacally because I was losing my mind. It was the most intense
Hmm.
discomfort I've ever felt. So I had to go to urgent care. They confirmed that I crushed like all the cartilage on the right side of my rib cage. And they said,
Jeez.
oh, well, had you actually broken your ribs, it would have been a lot less painful and take a lot less time to heal. The worst thing you can possibly do is crush your cartilage.
Fuck.
And the saving grace to this, though, is that my father did the same thing on his boat like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Slipped, fell, crushed all the cartilage in his rib. He knew exactly what I was talking about.
All
And
right.
he had the same heart surgery that I'm about to have. So, it
Oh.
runs in my family. And he told me, he said, the pain from the rib is the heart pain surgery is nothing compared to the rib. So I've already dealt with it. I've already spent 4 weeks not being able to sleep, trying to find positions I can lay in, not being able to sneeze or cough or laugh. I feel like I did my training for this is as complete as it can possibly be.
Yeah. Yeah. God. Jeez, man. Okay. So, I mean, I guess that's good. You've already had
Yeah.
something a lot worse.
And I'm gonna
And
have opioids this time, so woohoo!
that's, yeah, that's true. Got to be a little
Won't be a crisis
cautious.
for me.
Opioids can be very
I mean,
good. I think they're
yeah,
fine
they're not.
medical technology. Yes, absolutely. It's not like there's no morality to it at all, but there is a chemical
Yeah,
tripping hazards with
yeah.
all sorts
I
of
promise
painkillers.
I'm not gonna be out dealing smack or
Yeah,
whatever it's called in alleyways
dealing.
afterwards. Once mine's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, and honestly, legal. This is not like relevant to you, but like legal marijuana in states, people who have pain issues, um, run a lot lower chance of becoming addicted due to it because they can shift over to edibles and weed and shit, which is also a painkiller, but not maybe not quite as chemically powerful as heroin, but a good alternative, for just managing it sometimes. So yeah, it's fine. It's all good. That can help.
No, there's one last thing that I thought was amusing when I was in
Hmm.
my pre-op thing, is they were going through the pamphlets, and the nurse practitioner was reading off, the different advice that for me as I go through this thing, and the pamphlet was saying like studies show that having friends and family by your side before and after the surgery is critical to patient recovery and
Okay.
cannot be substituted by anything. It is critical that you have, and he walks over the ink pen and starts scratching that and goes, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, no visitors.
Yeah, the thing you need more than anything. None of that.
Yeah.
And then the closest thing you have to family is an iPad, and they won't
Oh,
even.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Then they said, you may want to bring a book. And I was like, okay, that's great. I got tons of books and movies loaded up my iPad. I'm good to go. And it's like, oh, yeah, you can't bring an iPad.
Be,
And apparently it's because they don't want to be sued if somebody, is walking through the room and decides, hey, I could use a new iPad.
free iPad.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to watch downloaded Mandalorian episodes. I don't know if that's what you had. I don't think it is, but
No, yeah, I just edit out everything. I just keep Gina. It's all Gina.
just get rid of everybody but her.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, dude. Okay, that's just a sad statement about our society. Is that the hospitals will make your recovery worse by limiting some of the comforts of home, like an iPad, a computer, your connection to the world, especially during a pandemic. They will remove that from you because someone stole an iPad once or something. They probably got sued. So, or who knows? I don't know exactly why that policy exists. It makes sense in a way where it's like, well, yeah, we don't want anybody to have their iPad stolen, but also let's build a world where that's not even a thing, where we have better. Okay, that's fine. No sense getting worked up about that. All right, dude, you're handling it well. I'm really glad that you're getting care, and I'm grateful that I can help you too. Meaning like, it's good to not, if you had to do this without anybody helping you out and shit, someone's got to pick you up at the hospital. Who wants to take an Uber home after this kind of surgery? What
I'm
a
taking a bird scooter
scooter.
in the hospital gown, just flapping.
Why did that guy just go driving by and he was oinking for some reason? What the fuck? So it'll be good, and we'll update people maybe later on after we have some more information. Sound good?
Mhm.
Great suggestion. Shelster Bell says that you might want to wrap James in bubble wrap. I agree. I think yeah. I think
You'd have
everywhere.
to replace it every 3 to 5 hours.
Yeah, it'd be a pig bubble wrap though, so, or cow, depending. Okay, so let's talk about Valheim. All right, something a little more uplifting. Oh no, you know what? This story is uplifting too. But Valheim is at least a fantasy land where we can murder and maraud and maim and wound anything we want at any time, and build beautiful outdoor workshops like I did in the last couple episodes. Uh, you've been playing Valheim for since it came out, roughly, right? Pretty close to
Oh yeah,
its
yeah.
launch in early February, and I kept hearing all this. You having fun and shit. You play with some friends, and I've seen a little bit of it, and I'm like, damn, that looks cool. I like that, and I love these exploration games and these building games, and I really like Minecraft, games that let you organically tell your own story. This game has a lot of mysteries to the way it works, which is part of its interest to me, and that's why I'm doing it as a blind playthrough. But it's intuitive. Like it kind of has an intuitive. Sorry, the seltzer water is backing up my. So it lets you explore and experiment and fail, but it doesn't feel so frustrating that you give up, or it's well made. It's very well made, and it's beautiful for its low res stuff. And did you want to share any generic thoughts about Valheim before we get to your comments on my playthrough? Since you are the
Um,
author of the Book of James.
I would just say that for an early access game, this is hands down the best $20 I ever dropped on anything. The
Yeah,
it's in, the game has absolutely everything that I need in a game. Gear progression, skills. More importantly, skills that you bolster by using the
I
skills.
like
I
that. Yeah.
love that.
Hmm.
I hate games that hamstring you by saying, "Here's your maximum level. Here's how many skill credits you get throughout your playthrough. If you don't allocate them correctly, whoops. Well, I guess you're just kind of screwed. Start over." I hate that. It doesn't do that to you. I
Yeah.
love not being told where I can and can't go early on. If I want to be a daredevil idiot and go running off into the lion's den as soon as my feet hit the ground, it lets me do that.
This
Like
is exactly
Skyrim
what you
lets you do
what
that.
you do. Yeah.
Oh,
That's how.
that's yeah. I mean, you just recently built a raft. The first thing I built in the game was a raft, and I was sailing off and waving to people, going, "Ah!" Did not go well,
Didn't go well, huh?
not at all. But
Um,
the experience that I had, I would not trade for the world. Won't
no,
tell you what it is until it happens to you, but I would not trade it for the world.
sure. I'm sure I'll have all sorts of terrifying deaths at sea. That's why I was doing some swimming training. Yeah. All right. So I agree. It's a great. I'd say Rocket League had a pretty good bang for the buck as far as $20 spent on an early game, because I've played thousands of hours of Rocket League over the last 4 or 5 years. Sometimes it's just like a depression medication kind of thing. I mean, like just like zoning out or leave whatever it does. But this, I'd say, yeah, this is a great value for $20. Even for $60, I'd be like, this is a fucking good game. I've spent way more money than 20 on shitty games. And I agree with your assessments about everything about it. But you're also withholding a lot because you've seen a lot further of the game than I have. So there's spoilers. You're being careful about spoilers right now. There's a good story to it too. I like that there's a what's the word? It's not religion, but the lore and the mythology. Religion's fine. It's a fine enough word. All that is folded into the mechanics of the game and into the world in a very seamless sort of nice way. It's like it gives you a little bit of hand holding just to kind of help you along with the Hugin, with the bird that shows up and tells you stuff, but it's also not real clear what the hell's going on or why or what you're supposed to do or anything. Just chop trees down and then start screwing around with stuff you pick up, and then eventually you got a house. Um,
I've been calling him Huggins in my head.
what did I?
Hugin sounds way more correct.
Hugins. Oh, obviously not a fan of the hit TV show House MD with Hugin Laurie. So you are the author of the Book of James. Nobody knows what's in here except you. I don't know what's in here. I'm not even sure if it's predictions or pudding recipes. I have no clue. Maybe it's a heart drawing for all I know. Do you have anything you want to say about where I have what you, because you've seen a lot of the stream that I'm playing.
Yeah, I can tell you
Mm-hmm.
that if you get to a point of your quest, going after the campfire. If you exhaust all
Oh,
options and you hit a wall, page 1 will answer every question.
oh, Book of James, what mysteries do you contain? Okay, that's good to know. I will be cautious not to open it up, but like you're gonna decide when we open this mainly, other than if I need it for that clue. But I hope this works out. This might not be interesting. It's funny. Okay, are there some pretty good surprises awaiting here,
Oh,
as far as,
oh yeah.
or at least things that we can have a conversation about, since that's easy for us to do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think ideally what I'm going to need to do is create a log of the page numbers down here so I can reference you correctly in the future. But yeah, there's a
Oh,
lot to be added.
yeah, maybe when we get around to opening it more officially, more formally. Um, or I can hold it up. Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. We can worry about that later. Okay, so key moment. Let's just not the, making this sound like this is we're doing a clip show of my playthrough, which is so egocentric it just kills me. But that said, some key moments I've had were first time out in the water. First dungeon was pretty big. I killed a bunch of skeletons, murdered them, and stole their mushrooms. Recently, I just had a big battle with Ekathir. This was a long time coming, and I'd been struggling with stones, getting access to rocks, because it's clear that there's a lot of rocks that need to be broken up and stuff I need to do. And land flattening, I didn't know why that was always so frustratingly and seemed weirdly designed. And finally, in the last few episodes, I got worked up the nerve and went and had a fight with the boss man, the deer with the Christmas lights on its horns, and I fucked that bitch up. It was great. Didn't I killed it. I was very confident and mastered the Deer King. Um, in your playthrough, though, you fought the boss way earlier with
Yeah,
friends.
yeah. I think that the difference is if you think about it as like a little league game. You know that the game is coming up. You know it's going to be difficult. You know that you're going to have to train for it. You know that you're going to have missteps. You're going to fail, but you're going to struggle through it and you're going to make it through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the approach I usually take. I go straight into it and I say, let the wind guide me.
Yeah,
It seems like what you do is you train and train and train and wait until you're about 35, and then you go do the game and you stomp all those kids.
precisely. Yep. I became the king of football, or what sport baseball, and then I went down and beat up a bunch of 4-year-olds
Yeah.
who aren't sure what direction to stand when they swing the bat.
I would wager that at this point of the game, after beating the first boss, after making the upgrades that you've made, there has got to be less than 1% of players who have not yet died at that point. It is absurd that you have defied death this long.
Well, I think yes. Okay, I I'm just taking a what feels natural to me, and what feels natural to me is to I'm playing. You play with two other people, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
your risk assessments are very different when you're alone or have backup.
Yes.
Um, Backup can also cause complications depending on how those are. Now you have social dynamics to navigate, but being a solo player, I'm also kind of inherently more. Um, it's immersive to me to be careful in that sense, not just because it's solo, but that's also sort of how my head works. So I overthink, I over prepare. I'm very meticulously minded, and so little details matter. And my rationale for holding off on the boss was not because I was trying to defy some sort of propelling logic or some propelling narrative that seemed obvious to others, but because my narrative was you're not ready for a fight, and you can gauge your strength to fight this guy based on how you manage other fights and also how much more upgrades are available. So I went to fight the boss because I gained confidence from other fights, including running away from giant blue tree-sized troll men who are terrifying, and also because I didn't have any other weapon upgrades I could do. Like if there were more stuff to upgrade, I probably still would have waited until I was more upgraded. So yeah, but I like
Yep.
the little league analogy of a grown man beating up children.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
thing that struck me though is like the paradigm. That might not even be the right word, but the strange thing about it is just how cautious you are in every aspect of how you do the game. And then out of the blue, as soon as a pickaxe hits your hands, you're literally digging under a giant stone tower and just slamming into rocks. And I'm screaming at my iPad, "What are you doing?"
Well, you want to see if you can bring it all down. And then,
Oh,
yeah, but you got to start. Oh, that's a great idea. I could just put up some support beams on the corners. I can go tear it down now. Fuck yeah.
yeah, I guess you could.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I agree. It didn't make sense to be underneath a building, swinging away at its concrete foundation,
Yeah, that's
hoping
not
it
usually how
collapses.
demolition works.
Let Hank at it. He likes to break down buildings. He's underneath it. Yes, I know. Yeah. I don't even think of myself. I'm definitely way more cautious than you are in demeanor in terms of like how you manage a game. But yeah, I think I'd say I'm more calculating than I am cautious. And it probably has similar symptoms. But I am just doing the math. I'm going into this alone. I'm not going to, if I detect that the odds are suddenly against me, I'm just going to run. And then I'll turn around and shoot them from very far away because I think I have pretty good aim with the bow. But yeah. And I love the building part of it too. The building thing is just so fun and cool and such a simple, what a complicated thing to do, but they do it with a very good intuitive building system. You know, it's only going to get better, I presume, since there's a lot of people playing it and it's still early access. So but I got the pickaxe though. That was like the best thing, and it was obvious that the game was trying to get you to go to the boss sooner than I did for sure, because that seems to be a pretty key tool, the pickaxe, as far as like advancing the tutorial stuff.
Yeah, it was a little excruciating all the times. Like, well, I can't level the ground. Why don't they add in an option to level the ground? How do
Yeah,
I break these rocks? Do I swing my axe at this tower? Is this how I'm supposed to get rocks? And I'm just like, go kill the boss. For the
I,
love of God, kill
well,
the boss.
what the fuck uses a bones to make an axe? I mean, other than like if you're cutting flesh, I'm all about a bone axe. If you're breaking apart rocks, I don't think we need antlers. Quick, somebody kill Rudolph. We need to break some rocks apart. Let's go murder Santa's car. Doesn't make sense to me. It didn't. If that was at all, if I suspected that's where it got it, that's why I was thinking the smelter. I did the smelter before I did the boss fight. That maybe when you make that, it goes, it comes with an axe, and here's your axe, and now you can go get stones. So I was very pleasantly surprised when I could make a pickaxe out of the
Right.
boss's hair.
Now the question is, now that you know how beneficial killing a boss can be for progression, how excited or motivated are you to find and slay the next boss?
I'm not super motivated to do that. I'm interested in understanding the lore more closely. So that's something that makes me want to like figure out the boss stuff because I think I think maybe later on after I'm pretty far along it'd be kind of fun to sort of start to like look for those videos that are like, oh, what the Valheim gets right about Norse mythology and gets wrong about North. Like I like stuff like that and see maybe it's an opportunity to learn a little bit about culture and Vikings and history and stuff. So I like the way that they present the mythology by you living the role of a hero who's been summoned to help suppress Odin's old enemies. I think that's roughly the storyline, roughly the premise. And I don't have. I'm more interested in exploring simply for the sake of finding the coasts and looking for new land and learning and finding new dungeons. The boss isn't really a big motivator for me. Other than maybe getting the power ups from that. So now I can do the one forbidden skill or something like the
Forsaken.
Forsaken skill. So that's a motivator. But I'm more interested in like building out the materials and learning how to have access to the raw materials. Like I literally majored in manufacturing in college. It's like it's amongst a larger degree, but uh, that's really more where my brain is in terms of it because that's to me that's the story is what I'm able to build on my own, I guess. And eventually though I think it'd be fun to have others jump in when I can turn the server into a or turn my world into an open, have visitors. I think that's one of the cool parts of the game that people can like visit each other's worlds. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yep,
Um,
yep.
but there like you keep many hours into the game, you keep finding new stuff, like new surprises. I'm not asking you to say anything
Yeah.
specific,
No,
but
oh yeah. I think I mean I completed the final. I mean, there's still a couple of little things I haven't done that I know of, but I completed the main game content this morning.
oh
And you do for a very long period of time continuously find yourself surprised by things, making new discoveries, finding new items, unlocking new recipes. It's there are so many little tiny nuances left to discover that the game feels like it's still growing and maturing as you feel like the content is growing thinner. It's amazing how they roll it out that way.
yeah, that's cool. Lots of
But you only get that benefit if you're not, if you go on Google or YouTube and start watching videos and stuff, you're going to lose all that magic.
yeah,
And
right.
thankfully, I know you don't do that.
No, I would like I was gonna go every once in a while just check out the video game news sites and stuff, and I even decided not to just to avoid some sort of Valheim headline that screws something up. Like it's so easy to catch spoilers on the internet, and I'm trying to do this as kind of raw and blind as I can. So so that when I do find new things or learn new things, like the pickaxe, that was an authentic celebration when it finally worked. When I finally killed the boss. So I think that's part. I hope that's what's part of the appeal of this whole playthrough that I'm putting up online. Not to mention the face cam, which is also more out of my comfort zone than I normally like to go. But I think it's good. All right, dude. Well, anything else about the game or about my playthrough that you've seen that our fans have also seen that you might have a comment on the
I
sailing
was
or
very happy when you realized that the arrow on the map was wind direction. That was pretty cool.
okay, good.
I don't know if you were joking or not, but I recall one point you walked by this little ramshackle house that was no bigger than a broom closet and say, "Oh yes, my first dungeon."
Yeah, that
And
was
I was like, "Oh no, does he think these are dungeons?" I hope not.
no, no,
No, no.
just a starter
But yeah, I
dungeon.
mean, overall, I think I guess the word I would use is impressed. I think you've built a fantastic, intricate house that I can see becoming this massive Viking longhouse. I see it in my head, and I'm curious to see how it progresses. And the combat that you're doing in the crypts, figuring out how important a shield is,
Yeah.
amazing. Your organization on your chest. I mean, I think it's really cool that you figured out how to stack chests so early like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I needed, there's vertical space and there's horizontal space. It's pretty straightforward.
But knowing to build those little planks so you can
Right.
fit the chests onto them, that's such a space saver.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Yes. I'm very flattered by those words. The home I just made, I'm very happy with it, and it is like it feels very big, and it's only 2 rooms, and so there I know how much more intricate these whole things. I eventually hope to have like a huge complex with gardens. Like I have, this like fantasies about much more elaborate sort of buildings with good defense things, because that's something I'm terrified of. Now that I know trolls are on the continent I'm on, which should have been kind of obvious, I don't know how I would be able to survive that. In fact, I I'm just hoping that they don't venture into the meadows, because I'm kind of I'm in the tutorial area. So I actually think that a more threat and in a more immediate sense right now is I've built up the back wall along like a little kind of cliff drop off slightly, and I've gotten myself stuck back there more than once already, and I'm thinking like, well, enemies are going to come out of the woods and fall down that little crevice, so I'm going to have to fill that in or block it off or something to prevent having to go fish out a gray dwarf out of out of the from outside the fence when they come raiding me. It did seem like they were raiding me way more often after I killed the boss, so I'm expecting that to either to taper off, or maybe that's the new normal. Maybe they're just going to be coming after me all the time. But thanks for all those nice things, man. I just love the woodworking shop that I got, the
Yeah.
outdoor area. It's I
Yeah, well,
just
bolster your defenses. I'm not saying that trolls will ever come after you. I'm not going to confirm
yeah.
or deny that. But I think a good rule of thumb is to base your defenses as though the worst thing in the world is coming for your base.
Hmm.
Plan for the worst
Okay. All
and
right.
hope for the best. Maybe
Okay.
nothing will come.
Okay, so some
But I don't.
yeah, go ahead.
I say that because I don't want to see anything happen to your house because I like it that much.
Oh yeah, it's okay. It'll be fine. And I figure eventually this will be just like the starter home anyway, because I'm gonna get better at building stuff. There's gonna be new materials, new things. I'll have a whole different resource set, and I'd like to probably build stuff somewhere else. There might be some relocating that the game might even impose. But then again, maybe I am aware of the transportation system in the game, so there might not be. Maybe this could still be like a home base for something. It isn't a great spot. It does have a nice view. Um, there was one oh you we I fought a gray dwarf brute and definitely hit me a couple times and hurt me, but I handled the guy pretty well. You and your two friends, when you first encountered the brute, it didn't go so well.
Oh, it slaughtered us. We were using basically like woodcutter axes, but it was like I think it was just an non-upgraded flint axe. We hadn't really figured out you could build armor yet. We certainly didn't have a smelter. We didn't have a sophisticated house and storage and things like that. We were just running through the Black Forest with, we had a straw bed under a piece of thatch, a little fire,
Yeah.
and we were getting killed over and over and over and over, but having fun doing it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's fun. It's great. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Like three people got murdered by a brute over and over, and for me, it was like that guy was mad, but
Yeah.
I killed him. Uh, that's funny, man. All right. Anything else you want to say? I'm getting a little antsy to
I guess the
jump in and
question
play.
is, what's the plan for today?
Oh, well. And also got a Twitch comment. Let me just say Mullah Love writes VP James.
No,
Thank you,
hello.
Mullah. I think he might mean Vice President James. I don't know what VP means, but it's very nice of you to say James's name.
Vincent Price, thank
Vincent
you.
Price. I
Yes.
don't know who that is. The plan for today. Poof. Probably doing some more exploring. I want to find a Surtling cores because I need to build the giant charcoal kiln thing. That'll help me complete the workshop area. And I might end up having to expand it depending on how much more accessories they let me build, like the cauldron and stuff. But there's room in that. And then after I get that, I'm gonna do metal stuff like smelting because I need the charcoal. I don't want to just use food. I can easily produce charcoal from food, and I have. But it seems to burn up charcoal pretty damn fast. So I would deplete my food stock pretty quickly. So once I get that going, and I'm guessing that wood is the ingredient to make charcoal because that's how it is in the real world. That I'll be able to do a lot more with metal. I'll make a copper knife and upgrade that. And so I guess the answer is to explore a lot, to try to find a dungeon and gather metal on my exploring trips, gather ores. So, but once I have the charcoal kiln built, then depending on what construction options are available, I'm going to work on setting up that second room, the big room that I built behind the house. So I'm going to get rid of the bed and make a doorway to that area and fix up the house. And because I want to eventually have like, you know, a couch and, a milk crate with a TV, like The Sims. I just want this to be like The Sims. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to be exploring mainly, looking for dungeons. That's what we're doing today.
And if
Pretty
you
impressive.
encounter a troll, is it
Oh,
still run or is it stand and fight?
not stand and fight. Although I might be stronger than I think. It sounds like I'm fairly well equipped for the area, but those things are so big. I kind of want to just strip down to my most basic stuff and go stand and fight one just because I'm probably going to die. And that way, if I can't get my stuff back, it's because I'm still so close to my home. It's not like this is a journey to go get my crap back. Um, so curiosity might make me take some risks regarding the trolls. I have been shooting them in the head and the body from afar, so I'll probably still do that. And I did kind of think of a theory today that maybe the trolls are babies. Those are the babies of that. They're just like lost babies because they have hairy tushies and they're naked, and that's how babies are. Well, they have poopy tushies, I guess. Um, so that would also mean that there'll be older, bigger, much bigger trolls out there that are going to come fuck me up or something. That'd be kind of crazy. Bunch of lost babies, and I'm just out there shooting babies in the face with arrows.
I'm very distracted by those shrimp too. It looks like they're writing the great American novel on an old timey typewriter.
Yeah, the typewriter. That's one of the funniest things James has ever said among the many funny things. He described the shrimp as typing, but they're just constant. So if I could, I should animate like a little keyboard, little buttons that they're pressing. That's so funny. Um, so Shelster Bell typing. I was amazed Hank was able to take down the first boss by himself. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Yeah, the shrimp are putting on a good show today. Cool. I'm going to be doing some maintenance on that tank this week. It's getting a little bit. Yeah, tap dancing. So Shelster Bell says. I'll feed him maybe in a little while. The other tank I have, I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's two aquariums back there. There's another one, and that one has three fish that are kind of boring, but it also has shrimp, and the shrimp have reproduced in there. So depending on how that population does, we might have some new camera angles on the shrimp empire. The shrimp squad are building out. As long as they don't form a union, those fucks, I'll be very upset if they try to do that. So yeah, cool, man. James, you're awesome. Someday your character, you can jump in to my world or whatever. Or maybe once I'm kind of past the spoiler risks and shit, it'd be fun to play some stuff. Because I'm sure that's going to take some time though, because I'm such a tedious, ponderous, slow player.
No, but I mean, if you ever get in a situation where you're out of options, I'm happy to jump in and help out.
Hell
I
yeah.
don't think you're going to ever need that because the way you play is pretty darn careful, but
Yeah, no.
you do have a lot of tough stuff ahead of you.
No, the one thought I had the first troll I saw was, this is so lonely. Because you can fight a big guy with two people or three, you know what I mean? Like that's the human beings. People are always like, why are human beings such a powerful animal? Because it's actually 10 units of the same consciousness fighting a mastodon. You can't.
They can only target one at a time.
They can only point their aggression at one at a time, and you've got 10 plus or even two. But like you have two people operating to fight something is just it's just distributed computing. That's what the human collective social cooperation means to me. Not that we're all computers, but so having help in this game and being able to experience these things with a friend where you're backing each other up, you're sharing, healing, whatever. Oh, I'm out of food. Oh, good. I need to, oh shit, my axe is broken. Stuff, whatever. It's intuitive to us because we all evolved helping each other all the time. That's because our survival depended on it. And anyway, seems like a cool game for that. And maybe someday there'll be a way to play with people via the channel or something, or maybe have like a persistent server. That seems fun, man. I would love to build up enough of like an audience and have like, online gaming communities where we it'd have to be restricted. It can't just be anybody who wants. It'd probably be through some sort of Discord or Patreon or something. So, but that's way getting ahead. But I think that'd be cool to just be able to check out each other's builds and go around. And I know that happens. It's not like that. That would be technologically feasible. Those online persistent servers are like $14 a month. It's not ridiculous by any stretch. So, great. Cool. Thanks for the comments, everybody. And in the chat, James, if you have any final thoughts here.
No, I'm just gonna load up my iPad, get Twitch going, and watch you do your thing.
Oh, okay. Come on, you can. Don't. That's just do something that don't want. Okay, thank you. Fucking awesome, James. You've been great. I've been looking for the marker to finish the drawing, but I can't find my marker. I don't know. It's not like okay. And I'm actually fairly clean right now, believe it or not. Although now that I look around, I see McDonald's wrappers and shit on my bed. Good stuff. Great times. I guess we're saying goodbye, James. Thank you for watching. Thank you for talking. I mean,
no problem.
Thank you to everybody.
I'll be here in spirit.
Don't say that. You're getting heart surgery on Tuesday. No. Yeah, sounds good. And give the nurses my phone number, not because I want to take them out on dates, but in case they need to call me to bring underwear or something for you.
Yeah, they'll check in on about your extended auto warranty and stuff. They do that a lot.
Yeah. So all we have left is 10W35 motor oil. Is this going to work for him? That's all I got. I don't know how to end these things, so I'm just going to hang up on you. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Right,
I'll be watching.
All right, see you. Bye-bye.
All right, later.
All right, bye. Mute. I just muted him. Kick him out. Kick him out. I don't know how to use put in waiting room. That's funny. Remove from waiting room. No, I don't want to report to Zoom. What the fuck? That's how that works. Just end the call. Okay. Zoom is over. All right, guys. Welcome back. Why did I say that? How was that? Wasn't that nice? James is such a great dude, man. I'm looking forward to. You know, if anybody's been watching this channel, I have emotions that are not very far from the surface. I'm worried, and I'm happy to be there to help him and stuff, and trying to make this his recovery from this big operation. He handled it with a lot of grace, and but I'm trying to make sure that he is. We only have to do this once, and we can minimize the risks of complications and stuff. Because fuck, it's intense, man. Jesus, it's crazy. So, is this Zoom call over? End meeting for all. Okay, now it's done. All right, so I will pass along any messages anybody says too. By the way, as I usually do when people put up nice stuff, except for the ones that are just like these comments that come in on when I post videos that are just these scam, like a website link with a little time code. It's like I know those are bots, but it's just so sad that people do that. I just report them and move on. I don't dwell on it, but it's just I always wonder, like, is that really what the Big Bang was about? So that 14 billion years later, some dumbass can like so many ways that people just do stupid stuff, myself included, just the wasted time. Not that I'm on trying to scam people to click on YouTube links and what in YouTube comment sections. Anyway, that's it. We're done. James in the chat there. You got a free pair of socks. That's right. Yeah. One for each hoof. All right, good. We're moving on. New part. Gonna start a new video. That's it. Thanks for James. And thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Do you like my new shirt? It's not new. I just found it in my closet. I mean, I've known about it. I didn't find it. But yeah. See you later. Bye.